Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Today we're going to be tackling the anatomy of the body of God.
Okay.
And this is a text that looks at the Kabbalistic tree of life
Right.
as a way to map out.
All of existence, really.
Yeah.
I think most people have heard of the Tree of Life at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
It's sort of this mystical symbol from the Jewish Kabbalah.
Right.
But this text kind of looks at it
As not just this static image, but a dynamic process.
I think what's so interesting is that
The document addresses
this feeling that a lot of people are having right now.
that things are changing really rapidly.
Yeah.
It's
Civilization is kind of breaking down
Yeah.
and something new is being built.
yeah,
And so it's saying we need a new understanding.
of life's structures.
And not just to kind of navigate this external chaos,
Yeah.
but for our own internal growth as well.
Yeah, it's we're all being asked to level up.
Nobody gave us the instruction manual. And so the Tree of Life is kind of that turret, isn't it?
Precisely, yeah.
It acts as a blueprint showing how everything originates from the AIN.
That infinite, unknowable source.
Right.
And it unfolds into...
All the complexity of the universe.
And we're not just observers of this process, we're a part of it.
Constantly evolving and expanding within that structure.
Okay, so we're all like branches on this cosmic tree.
But how does that actually work?
Doesn't the tree of life have all these different parts?
It does.
Yeah, it progresses through emanations or Sephiroth.
Each representing a specific facet
Of creation and consciousness.
And they're like building blocks.
It's fitting together in this intricate order,
Yeah.
culminating in Malkuth.
Which represents the physical world that we experience.
Okay, so each Sephir is like a stage of development.
And we're like down here in Malkuth.
The physical world trying to figure it all out.
Right.
But if this tree of life...
Represents perfect order.
What about free will?
That's such...
Fascinating point.
And the text directly addresses this tension.
Between divine order and human choice.
So the Tree of Life is a structure, yes.
But we have the ability to act in ways
that either harmonize with that order or distort it.
Okay, so we can make choices
That either support...
that natural flow of energy or create resistance.
Yeah.
But how do we know?
If we're like flowing with the current or fighting against it.
Well, the document introduces this concept.
Of the evil veiling circumference.
Which is a force that obscures our true nature.
And hinders our understanding of this divine order.
So is it like some external evil?
Or is it more like an internal blockage that keeps us from seeing clearly?
I think it's more like...
You could think of it as the sum of all of our...
limiting beliefs.
Negative patterns.
The conditioning that clouds our judgment.
So we're all wearing these
cosmic blinders that prevent us from seeing the bigger picture.
But if it's internal, we can work to remove it, right?
Exactly.
The text suggests that we can dismantle this evil veiling circumference.
By cultivating a discerning mind.
And utilizing our personal will and creative imagination.
Okay, so it's about using our will to break free from limitations.
Not just to get what we want.
Right.
But how do we use that will in a way?
That's actually aligned
with the tree.
With that divine order.
That's where the concept of right use comes in.
It's about aligning our actions and thoughts with the principles.
Of the Tree of Life.
Making choices that benefit not just ourselves.
But others as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Use isn't about forcing our will on the world.
But rather about aligning it with something greater.
Something more harmonious.
Yeah.
It's like becoming a conscious participant in the unfolding of the universe.
Rather than just a passive observer.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
So the anatomy of the body of God
emphasizes that we're not separate from this divine process.
We're an integral part of it.
Our choices matter.
And they have the power to shape.
Not only our personal reality,
but the collective reality as well.
I think that's right.
So we have this blueprint.
In the form of the Tree of Life.
We have this capacity for choice.
For personal will.
And then we have this principle of, right,
use
to help us align our actions with a greater good. But how does this actually play out in our lives? How do we know we're using our will?
In a way that's truly beneficial.
That's a question
that we'll dive deeper into.
One way the text suggests is
through the concept of the Shekinah.
And it's often translated as dwelling or presence.
But it represents something quite profound.
The feminine aspect of the divine.
Wait, so God has a feminine side?
Not quite.
In Kabbalah, the divine is beyond gender.
But think of the Shekinah.
As embodying qualities like compassion,
nurturing,
and immanence.
That is the divine present within the world.
Not separate from it.
What's fascinating is that
it's closely associated with Malkuth.
The Sephira representing the physical world and humanity.
So the feminine principle is deeply connected.
To the material realm, the world we live in.
But how does that help us understand right use?
Well, the document states that
When humanity operates out of alignment with the divine order,
the Shekinah is said to be in a state of exile,
and this exile reflects a disharmony.
both within us and in the world around us.
Okay, so when we're not living in accordance
With our true nature,
with the principles of the tree of life,
it affects the Shekinah.
this feminine aspect of the divine,
So does that mean that we have a responsibility?
to help bring it back from exile,
The text seems to suggest,
that our actions, our choices,
and the state of our personal growth,
have a direct impact on the Shekinah.
by aligning ourselves with the tree of life
Practicing right use,
and consciously working to create a more harmonious world.
we contribute to the process of bringing the Shekinah back from exile.
That's a powerful concept.
So our personal growth isn't just about us.
It's about playing a role in a much larger cosmic drama.
Yeah,
So what are some practical examples?
of how we can actually do that.
That's a great question.
And something we'll definitely explore further.
In part 2 of our deep dive
But one way to think about it,
is through the lens of the
breaking of the vessels.
which is a concept that the text mentions.
Breaking of the vessels.
Sound is intense.
So even though there was this like cosmic disruption,
It led to the divine being present in everything.
that's the idea.
It suggests that even in the mundane aspects of life,
There are glimpses of the divine waiting to be discovered and integrated,
and it's our job to gather those sparks to bring them back together.
and contribute to the restoration of harmony and balance.
This is making me think about how we often,
They get caught up in limitations.
those evil veiling circumference blinders
Right.
we were talking about earlier,
So how do we break free from those limitations?
and access that divine spark.
Within ourselves and the world around us,
That is a question for our next deep dive session
where we'll explore the role of personal will
in shaping our reality.
and how it can help us
Overcome the evil veiling circumference.
to truly step into our power. Picking up from our discussion of the breaking of the vessels, those scattered divine sparks, the anatomy of the body of God places a lot of emphasis on personal will as the key to gathering those sparks and overcoming the limitations of the evil veiling circumference.
Okay, so we're not just like passively waiting for the universe to fix itself.
We actually had a role to play in this process
Right,
of
yeah.
restoring harmony and balance.
But how do we actually use our will in a way,
Like effective.
in a way that's truly aligned with the tree of life?
That's where the concept of right use comes into play.
It's not just about having a strong will.
It's about using that will skillfully in a way that's aligned with the divine order.
We talked about right use earlier, but I'm still a little fuzzy on what it means in practice.
Is it just about like making good choices?
It's more nuanced than that.
Think of it as aligning your actions and thoughts.
With the principles of the tree of life
It's about asking yourself,
is what I'm doing, what I'm thinking.
contributing to the overall harmony and balance of the universe.
Is it benefiting not just myself, but others as well?
So it's not about like denying our individual desires or ambitions.
But rather about ensuring that they're in harmony with a larger purpose.
Exactly.
The anatomy of the body of God uses a fascinating analogy to illustrate this.
The equilateral triangle.
A triangle.
How does that relate to personal will and right use?
The equilateral triangle, with its perfectly equal sides and angles, represents
A state of balance and harmony.
when our personal will is aligned with the divine will.
It creates this kind of stable structure.
But when our will is driven by ego, fear, or selfish
It
desires,
distorts that triangle.
creating instability and disharmony.
So it's like we're all trying to build this cosmic triangle with our,
Choices and actions.
and the more we align with,
right use.
the more stable and harmonious that triangle becomes.
Yeah.
But what happens when we mess up?
We're all human, after all.
The text acknowledges that we're not perfect beings.
We're to make mistakes, we're going to stumble.
But the key is to learn from those mistakes.
To keep refining our understanding of
Right.
use. And to keep striving towards that state of balance and harmony.
That makes sense.
It's like we're all on this journey of becoming more conscious.
More aligned.
But the document also talks about
The evil veiling circumference as this force that obscures our true nature.
right.
So how do we overcome that?
And actually start making choices.
That are in alignment with, right,
Yeah.
use.
The text suggests that a key step is cultivating what it calls,
A discerning mind
and it's about learning to see through the illusions.
that keep us trapped in those limiting beliefs.
and negative patterns.
It's about questioning our assumptions.
And looking for the underlying truth.
So it's not enough to just have good intentions.
We need to develop the wisdom to see things clearly.
To make choices that are truly in alignment with our highest good.
I think that's right.
But how do we actually do that?
The document offers several practical suggestions.
One is the practice of self-reflection.
It's about taking the time to examine.
Our thoughts, beliefs, and motivations.
Where are those negative patterns coming from?
What are the underlying fears or insecurities that are driving our behavior?
That sounds a lot like therapy.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
If we want to change our external reality.
We need to start with our internal world.
Exactly.
And the text also emphasizes
The power of creative imagination.
yes.
I remember we talked about this earlier.
But I'm curious to hear more about
How creative imagination can help us.
dismantle the evil veiling circumference and align with, right? Use.
Think of your imagination as a spiritual muscle.
The more you use it, the stronger it becomes.
When you use your imagination to envision a reality,
That's in harmony with the principles of the Tree of Life.
you're actually helping to create that reality.
So it's not just about like daydreaming.
It's about using our imagination as a tool for manifesting positive change.
Precisely.
And the document specifically mentions.
Using our imagination to fix the design in its purity.
And to reestablish the divine workmanship to its place.
Wow, those are some powerful phrases.
Can you unpack those a bit?
Essentially, it's about reclaiming our power.
As co-creators with the divine,
We're not just passive recipients of fate.
we have the ability to shape our reality through.
Our choices, our actions, and our imagination.
That's incredibly empowering.
But it also sounds like a lot of responsibility.
How do we know we're not just imposing our ego's desires on the world?
But rather truly aligning with the divine will.
That's a great question.
And one that requires constant discernment.
The document doesn't offer easy answers.
But it does emphasize the importance of connecting with our intuition.
Listening to that inner voice of wisdom.
That guides us towards, right,
Use. So it's about cultivating that inner connection.
that sense of alignment with something greater than ourselves.
But it's also about taking action.
About putting those insights into practice in our daily lives.
Exactly.
And the document offers
A powerful example of this.
in the story of the Israelites.
And their journey through the wilderness after escaping slavery in Egypt.
Right?
How does that story relate to personal will and
Right.
use?
The Israelites faced many challenges and setbacks on their journey.
There were times when they lost faith.
When they wanted to give up and return to their former lives.
But ultimately, they persevered.
And they were able to enter the promised land.
So their journey is a metaphor for our own spiritual journeys.
Exactly.
We all face obstacles and challenges.
On the path of personal growth.
There will be moments when we doubt ourselves.
When we feel lost or discouraged.
But the key is to remember the vision
Of the promised land.
of our true nature.
And to keep moving forward even when the path is difficult.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
That's a really inspiring message.
It's a reminder that we have.
That inner strength and resilience to overcome obstacles.
And achieve our goals as long as we stay connected.
To that vision of our highest potential.
The text also highlights the importance of cultivating
Certain qualities that can help us navigate.
this journey more effectively.
Like what kind of qualities?
It mentions qualities like
Patience,
perseverance,
humility.
and a willingness to learn from our mistakes
These are all essential.
for aligning with right use and overcoming the challenges we face.
This is making me think about how we often look for.
Quick fixes or easy solutions.
But true transformation takes time, effort.
And a deep commitment to personal growth.
Absolutely.
The tree of life isn't a ladder.
That we climb quickly.
It's more like a spiral path,
That we ascend gradually.
circling back on ourselves as we integrate new insights and understanding.
Right.
So it's a journey of continuous evolution
Of constantly refining our understanding of ourselves.
and our place in the universe,
But it's also a journey of joy
of discovery.
and of unfolding our unique potential.
Beautifully put.
And the anatomy of the body of God emphasizes that.
This journey isn't something we do alone,
You're all interconnected.
and we can support each other on this path of growth and transformation.
That's a wonderful reminder.
We're all in this together.
And by sharing our experiences, our insights, and our support,
We can collectively contribute to the healing and transformation of the world.
I think that's right.
But how do we move from this theoretical understanding
of the tree of life to actually experiencing its power in our daily lives
How do we integrate these teachings?
in a way that truly makes a difference
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore in the final part.
of our deep dive.
We'll delve into some specific practices and techniques
That can help us connect with the tree of life on a deeper level.
and bring its wisdom into our everyday experience.
We've been unpacking some pretty complex concepts, you know?
From the anatomy of the body of God,
Yeah.
we've talked about the tree of life,
As a blueprint for existence.
the power of personal will.
The importance of right use
But I'm curious how we can actually bridge the gap
between understanding these ideas.
and experiencing their power in our daily lives.
That's a crucial question.
You know, it's easy to get lost,
In the theoretical aspects of the Kabbalah,
but the real magic happens.
when we apply these teachings to our everyday experiences,
The document emphasizes
that the tree of life isn't just,
an abstract symbol
it's a living system of energy.
that we can interact with and learn from.
Okay, so how do we tap into that energy?
How do we make the tree of life come alive
In a way that's tangible?
and relevant to our lives?
One powerful practice the text mentions is meditation.
But not just any meditation.
This is about meditating on the tree of life itself.
So we're not just sitting there.
Yearn into your minds.
We're actively engaging
Right.
with the tree of life in our meditation.
Exactly.
Visualize the tree of life.
In your mind's eye.
Explore each Sephira
Contemplate its qualities.
and see how those qualities relate to your own life.
You can even use guided meditations.
Specifically designed to work with the tree of life
That sounds like a great way
to deepen our understanding.
of the tree of life and how it relates to our personal growth.
But is there anything else we can do beyond meditation?
The document also suggests
Studying the Kabbalistic texts,
and engaging in discussions with others.
who are also exploring these teachings.
The more we immerse ourselves in this wisdom,
The more it becomes integrated into our being.
so it's not just about solitary study.
It's about community and shared exploration.
Right.
It's about learning from each other.
And supporting each other on this journey.
This is making me think about how we often approach
Personal growth.
as an individual pursuit.
But the Kabbalah seems to emphasize.
The importance of community and interconnectedness.
That's a great observation.
The tree of life itself is a symbol of interconnectedness.
It shows how everything is ultimately connected.
How each part of creation is woven into the fabric of the whole.
Okay, so we've talked about meditation
Study and community.
as ways to bring the tree of life into our lives.
Are there any other practical techniques or exercises we can use?
The document mentions the importance of aligning our actions.
With the principles of the tree of life.
This is where the concept of right use really comes into play.
We've talked a lot about right use.
But how do we actually put it into practice
It starts with becoming aware.
of our choices and motivations?
Are we acting out of fear, anger, or selfishness?
Or are we guided by compassion, love, and a desire to serve?
Something greater than ourselves.
Each decision we make, no matter how small.
Is an opportunity to practice.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's about bringing that conscious awareness.
Into every aspect of our life.
Exactly.
It's about asking ourselves,
Is this choice in alignment with the principles of the tree of life?
is it contributing to the harmony and balance of the universe?
Exactly.
It's about making choices that uplift and empower.
Not just ourselves, but all beings.
It's about using our gifts and talents.
To make a positive difference in the world.
This is making me realize
That the tree of life isn't just a theoretical model.
it's a practical guide for living a more meaningful and fulfilling life.
It's a path of continuous growth.
Transformation and service.
I couldn't agree more.
And I think that's the ultimate message.
Of the anatomy of the body of God.
It's a call to awaken to our true nature as divine beings.
To embrace our power as co-creators with the universe.
And to live in alignment with the principles.
Of love, harmony, and right use.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey
It's given me a whole new perspective.
on the tree of life and its relevance to my own life.
I'm leaving with a renewed sense of purpose.
And a deeper understanding of my role.
In the unfolding of the universe.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And as we conclude this exploration,
I'll only leave you with this final thought.
if the tree of life is a blueprint for all creation,
And we each embody a unique aspect of that blueprint,
then our lives become a sacred dance
of manifesting our highest potential.
and contributing to the unfolding of the divine plan.
May we all dance with grace, wisdom, and love,